sure if anybody joined today or not. 2 o'clock in the afternoon here in Indiana. Probably not the best time of the day to go live, but I was out here in the shop working. While I was sitting down doing a little hand sanding on things, I figured I'd just go ahead and start it up. Howdy, thanks for stopping by. Not a whole lot going on today. Just working on fitting my metal tenons, or my stainless tenons, into my cherry stems at the moment. There's one. I've got about 5 of them to enlarge that hole. Right now I can't hardly get that one in there at all. So I'm just going through with some sandpaper and opening it up just enough that I can get the tenon in that end. Hopefully everybody's having a decent day today. January 26th here in central Indiana. It's kind of chilly out. They still got a state of emergency where people aren't supposed to be driving around, so due to that they closed work today. So I'll have to take some paid time off for today to stay home, but figure if I'm going to be here I might as well try to be productive. Get some work done on the pipes. Not real exciting stuff, but it's something that has to be done. Got a couple that I've been working on a little bit. This was the first one. I need to do some sanding on him, cleaning him up, and had this idea of a whale tail on him, and looking at it like that, I thought it looked kind of like a whale, but I wanted to refine that a little bit, so I did another one kind of apple shaped, but I put a bigger tail on him. Howdy Plunder, how's it going? I'm debating about going past this. I'm thinking about going to another one with a wider tail on and try to define it a little bit more. Try to get that little bit more of a whale feel than those even have. Doing good, how are you? Yeah, it is a little different, seems like to me, Plunder. I hadn't seen any yet with a whale tail like that. Yep, we've definitely got some snow here too. We got 12 inches last night, or actually the night before, sorry. Through yesterday, about 6 o'clock last night. I got outside when it was slowing down and spent an hour and a half or so clearing everything out. Luckily, my neighbor with a big truck and a snowplow come up and hit the entrance there, coming off the highway for me. That saved me probably 45 minutes or better of time out there pushing snow with my little four-wheeler. Sounds like we didn't get quite as much as what they originally predicting, but we got enough for my taste, really. Got a couple different lengths of cherry stems I'm working on. These are for the Rangers, and then this one will be for the Wizards, so quite a bit of difference there. About 3 inches or 3.5 inches difference between them. Hey Chris, how's it going? I'm guessing Chris is used to seeing more snow than we do here in Indiana. At least people got out and got prepared for this one in case it did get bad. Better to be prepared and not need it. Tired but good, yep. We're doing good. I got 2 heaters running out here in the garage. Have a real winter for once. Yeah, I tried to warm the shop up. I got 2 different heaters going. You may hear one of them blowing in the background. I usually don't use that one, but it's pretty chilly, so want to be comfortable out here. I've got them pointing at the doors because I got metal doors, so I'm heating the doors up. That way they kind of reflect the heat. I figure that's better than heating the air, because then the cold would always be seeping in on those doors, cooling it off. So I figure it's better to heat those metal doors and let them reflect the heat off and make better use of the energy that way, I think. I was telling Chris I'm Just cleaning up the inside of the cherry stems right now so the metal tenon will fit. Cost of heating's gone through the roof. That's not good. They're gonna have us going back to wood stoves and cutting firewood if that's the case. I've got a wood stove out in my shed that's not set up. It's been in a box since I bought it, probably, wow, it's been 15 or 20 years ago. I need to buy a flue kit for it, so in case I was to need it, I could always install it. Right now, all I got's the stove itself. I don't have any of the required hardware to get it running. I probably ought to get some of that. Maybe this spring some of that stuff will go on sale and I'll buy some and put it out in the shed also. That way I'm a little more prepared. No, I don't put a lining in them. I know I think it's those Grunewald pipes. I think they have a lining in them. They're just cherry wood, so I figured if they could make pipes out of cherry should be a safe wood to use for drawing smoke through also. Those old ROP pipes were made, the bowls were made out of cherry, where they're right there with the ember. I know some, I don't know which ones, but I've heard there's some woods out there that are toxic. So I figured go with something they used as a bowl, then I'd be on the safe side. I've never really got into investigating all the woods that are usable and the ones that aren't. I just mainly stick to briar bowls and cherry stems. There we go. There's another one. One more I got here, and then right now they're straight, so I'll have to cut a taper on them here in a little bit. I've been kind of bouncing around a little bit today on different things. I'm struggling to stay focused on one item, so I'll try to get these stems ready to be steamed. Maybe later today, this evening, when I'm sitting in the house, I can steam them. Have you been making any pipes lately, Chris? And I'm just taking a small piece of sandpaper and then rolling it up, and then that's what I use to go in and open it up just a couple thousandths to get my metal tenons to fit. Ah, cool. Yeah, it's hard to get motivated when it's cold. That's why I actually fired up 3 different heaters out here today. I've got one of them shut off now that the temp's up. It's pretty toasty in here now. So hopefully I can stay on task. I need to be getting pipes ready to go to Muletown, which is March 6th, so I still got a little over a month. But it will get here before you know it. I don't have, I think I only have one Shire Series pipe at the moment that's ready. I have another one that needs stained and finished. It's already shaped and got a stem on it. I've got at least 3, maybe 4 stummels, pretty close. They need stems, so that's the reason I'm kind of focused on stems at the moment. I showed him a minute ago a couple pipes I'm working on that kind of look like whales, Chris. I don't know what got me on that, but one of them I started shaping and I thought put a whale tail on it. Well, then I wasn't happy because it was kind of small for a tail, so then I made one with a little bit bigger tail. And now I think I'd like to try to find one with the correct grain orientation to where I could get some killer grain on the side of the whale. But I haven't found that block yet, so I've also been working on a couple Grunewald pipes just to kind of showcase actual normal pipe making, my ability in that area, instead of all the niche Lord of the Rings, or because I don't know, I just think people need to see that I have the talent to make a regular pipe. It's just a little tight still. Most of my billiard or Lovat-ish pipes in the past, I think they've been more of Italian design. I hate stem work. So now my Lavats I'm working on currently, I'm trying to have more of a Danish feel to them. So there's the tenon in all 5 of those. Here's a little whale I was working on. Started out with this little tail on him. He's asymmetrical. He's not meant to be even from side to side. So he's a little more bulbous on one side, a little flatter on this side. But there's his profile. And then this one's more of an apple-shaped bowl. He's got a bigger tail on him. And he's the same way. He's asymmetrical. He's not meant to be side to side perfect. But even with the little tail, I think they both have that whale vibe going on. That's not the purpose around here, Albert. Sorry. There may be people that do, but these are more for old school tobacco. Something your grandpa would smoke. These need cleaned up a little bit. I was originally thinking about sandblasting them. Yep, have a good day. Yeah, these need a little bit of fine sanding on them. Originally they were going to be sandblast, but they don't have any flaws in the briar. And it's always just kind of a shame to blast something that's flawless. So since I don't see any sand pits or anything like that, I'm gonna spend some time. I hadn't really thought that far in advance to whether I'll do eyes. I'm normally not into the intricate carving stuff, but it is something you can consider, I suppose. I seen one of the guys working on a pipe earlier with a little Dremel with a really small bit, and it was a bunch of, looked almost like honeycomb on the outside, but it wasn't bad enough that there was honeycomb on the outside, but it was like it had a second layer of honeycomb underneath. So he was having to work down into the depths of both of those combs separately, it looked like. And that was very intricate work. I think it maybe take a little different skill set when you get into something like that. Trying to do some fine sanding, make sure I get all the scratches out as well as much as I can. We're at 600 grit at the moment, just going over everything. "11 inches of snow right there with us. We got 12 inches here. I was around back in 1978 when we had the blizzard here in central Indiana. Of course, I was only 13 years old at the time, but I was here. I was out playing in it. That was an ordeal there. Not really looking forward to anything like that coming back. Wow, I'm seeing some scratches. I may have to go back down to 400 for a minute. I think I will switch back to 400. I don't know if I can find some. Oh, there's some 400. Got little pieces of it laying here and there. We live in Indiana, central Indiana. Just south of Indianapolis. I've been posting a few of my emberlings on Instagram, Grunewald_Pipes. Most of those are available. I've sold at least one of them, so I know one of them is not available. Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate that. Anybody doing anything exciting out there today? Hey, David, how's it going? I'm just out here doing some hand sanding on a couple pipes. Earlier I was fitting the metal tenons into some cherry stems that I'm getting ready to taper. This is what I'm sanding on currently. Kind of has a whale vibe to it. And that was my first one. I don't know why I decided to go with a whale. So then I thought, well, I need to do one a little better. Try to get a bigger, wider tail on him. And I'm not sure this is even wide enough. I may try to do one even wider. But I think I'm gonna look for one that's got a some grain in it that I can follow along the bowl. Something just a little bit different. And the crazy thing is, I saw somebody posted a whale pipe on Instagram like 2-3 days ago, but it was a longer pipe, and it was really weird because he shows you the pipe like this, and obviously the tail's smaller. That's actually the mouthpiece, and he put the chamber almost like a horn, but it seemed like it was even straighter than a horn. It looked like it would be really difficult to smoke when you had it, when it looked the most like a whale laying down, because it looked like the chamber like almost shot straight out the front. It was kind of odd, but it was definitely had a nice whale vibe going on about it. I forget who it was that posted that the other day. I've been sitting on these for a few weeks, just couldn't decide when to pop them out here. I was debating about holding back all the way to Chicago before I kind of showed them off, just because I thought it was kind of neat and unique. But it's out there now. I'd like to do one where the grain follows straight up the bowl. Maybe. We'll see. I'll have to look around. I haven't found anything in my briar yet that really spoke to me to do a bigger whale on. Originally, both of these would have been sandblast, but this one especially, this little one with the smaller tail, there's no flaws on it. So I just can't bring myself to sandblast a pipe that there's no flaws on. So I've decided to spend some more time on it, sanding it down to get it to smooth. The other whale did have a couple little places show up They're not horrible. It's right there on the bowl. There's like 3 black dots. Well, not black, dark brown. And then one back here is the worst. It's got a little brown spot there in the middle. It's got a little line in it. So I'm undecided what to do about that. They're not horrible, but it's not flawless either. So I don't know whether to sandblast him or not. You wouldn't mind the small spots? Yeah, I know it's really hard to make those determinations. Maybe at the price point I'm at, I shouldn't be overly worried about it, but for sure when you get up into those higher price pipes, you probably really have to be extremely critical. I think my critical level of being critical on my pipes may surpass my price point currently, because I get too critical of little flaws or something like that. And I have a Lovat that I sandblasted, and it's awesome. Yeah, I think it'd look cool too. I have a Lovat that I haven't shown a picture of yet. I need to get a little turntable. I want to showcase it, and it won't be available until Chicago. And it got blasted, but it had great blast potential. I mean, it had nice looking ring grain around it. The lines were pretty straight coming up the bowl. I mean, it looked it could have went either way, but it had 2 places on it that I just could not come to terms with making it a smooth. And luckily the ring grain and everything looked cool, so I went ahead and blasted. And those places, I started blasting and they just disappeared. It was crazy. I mean, I know they were there, but you can't tell with the blast that there was anything there. And the ring grain just carries the pipe. Probably within the next week, I'll try to upload a picture of it so people can see it. But like I say, it won't be available for sale until Chicago, because I want to be able to put it on my table at Chicago and let some people see it and see what kind of response I get out of it. I think it's going to be good. It's not a full-blown Lovat because it doesn't have a yeah, it's definitely a product of nature. It's not 100% Lovat because it doesn't have a saddle stem on it, but it doesn't have a tapered stem either. I have more of a hybrid stem that's in between a saddle and a taper. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes over as far as how the public responds to it, but I'm extremely pleased with it. And I've got another Lovat that I think is going to be a smooth. May have to try to do a contrast stain on it, but it's got some nice straight grain in it also. I'm hoping, keep my fingers crossed for the best. It seems like you're always on the precipice until the pipe's got your logo on it. Anything up to then can go wrong, and then you won't end up having the pipe. I've heard of people wasting a pipe in the process of polishing. Get caught on the polishing wheel and throw it down on the floor and break it. I haven't done that, luckily, knock on wood. That would be aggravating for sure. All that time spent, especially if it's a pipe that you're really taking a liking to, that you really think it's coming together great. And I'm gonna put a thermostat out here and see what the temperature is here in this garage. I may have it over. I may be pushing 80 degrees out here. This is warm out here. I may have got a little carried away with the heaters. I've got 2 of them running currently. With shipping costs and tariff, it is a pain to order from the U.S., unfortunately. Oh, yeah, I bet. I haven't ordered any supplies lately from Germany, so I'm not sure how that's going to be affected yet. I don't need anything currently, so maybe hold out and pick something up at the Chicago show that I would normally have to have shipped in. See if these scratches are gone yet. Nope, there's some right there. I think they're too fine to show up in the camera, but I can see them here with the light. Had to step back to 400 grit to try to get rid of these so I can move on up to 600. I was watching Simon earlier. Germany, U.S. is very difficult as far as I know for now. Ah, darn it. That stinks. Yeah, I saw Simon London calling Simon on earlier, and he is smoking one of the Briar Fellowship Ravenwood blends. And I've been impressed with everything I get from James. Seems like all of it's very high quality leaf that he uses. Very, very smooth smoking stuff. My favorite is probably Throgmorton Chalet. I really enjoy that. Oh yeah, Chris, you have one. Greg, the Tunnel Take. I think you won one of his gauze to get that one over. I thought that was really cool. After you got that one, I like to joke around and tease some of the people I know and say, yeah, I got pipes all around the world. That's pretty cool. Especially since I'm only at around 110 pipes or something like that so far. I think that's real cool to have pipes that have traveled around the world like that. Now, are you in Austria, Chris? I can't recall where your actual location is. And I know Yusuf has one of my pipes too, and he's in South America. Austria, yes. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I have a horrible memory though, so I try not to trust it. I feel bad. Sometimes I run into people and talk to them at pipe shows, and they're like, oh yeah, we talked last time. And I'm like, sorry, I wish I remembered your name. My memory is horrible. And since I had COVID, it's even worse. It takes me quite a few times of speaking with somebody to remember their name. I had a guy at the last Indiana Pipe Club meetup come up to me and started talking about pipes and making it. South Africa. Yeah, I said South America, didn't I? South Africa, that's what I was thinking. Thanks, Chris. Or thanks, David. I mean, my vision's not good either. Thanks, David. Yeah, South Africa. And then this guy come up and sat down and pulled out a couple of falcon bowls that he had made. And he had bought a thread cutting deal so he could put falcon threads on the bottom of these bowls. And he was talking to me, and when he first sat down and started talking to me, I asked him what his name was, and he seemed a little put off, but I apologized. I mean, my memory's horrible. His name was Brian. I remember that currently. Hopefully next time we meet up, I'll remember. But he's just now starting to get into making some pipes, talking about maybe getting a lathe. I saw some pictures of everybody down there at Smitty's cigar show they had. That looked like a good time. Man, they opened up some crazy tobaccos down there too. I can't remember their faces. That's really a problem. Yeah. I'm thinking, I don't know that it's going to help. I'm thinking about trying some blueberries and honey. I think I'm going to start eating, I don't normally eat honey, but I think I'm going to try to start eating blueberries and honey on a daily basis to see if that will help. For some reason, it seems like I remember somebody on an ad or something talking about that helping with memory. I got to try something. I thought about trying that Prevagen, that stuff they get from jellyfish. That's supposed to help, but that stuff's $45 a bottle for, I don't know if it's a month's supply or 2 months supply. It's high. Alright, I think 400 grit has finally got all the scratches. Maybe one right there. See if I can get this rolled up and get it down in there. As long as you can make pipes. Well, it's nice when you see your customers that have bought pipes from you to be able to remember their names. Tiny scratches haunt you. Yeah, I was seeing Wayne Typin posted the other day, and he said that the little imperfections pester him too. He showed a pipe that he had stained and everything, and he had to end up taking it back to the shaping wheel because he realized that it was not symmetrical, and it was supposed to be, so it was driving him crazy that it wasn't just perfect. So he had to go back to the shaping wheel and start over. Holy smokes, I think I'm going to have to turn off a heater. This is getting warm. Plus, that's probably a little quieter without that little fan running in the background. Trying to get this transition cleaned up a little bit in here. It had a couple scratches hidden down in there, going from the tail to the body of the whale. There's a couple on the tail right there on the bottom side. Do you have any pipe shows over there in Austria by any chance, Chris? Oh yeah, that's understandable. Greg, the tunnel tech, cracks me up because it doesn't matter. He gets a pipe and it doesn't have a long enough stem. He's getting out the hand drill and hand drilling that out. That just drives me crazy. I'd ruin it for sure. He obviously doesn't, but every one of his pipes has to have a long stem on it. I think the only one he did not modify come from Brian Quilty, and it was this super long Canadian. That thing looked like it was 8 inches long. He didn't do any modification of that, and that one surprised me. No pipe shows. Sorry about that. In the 90s, there have been some, I think. Wow. So Austria must be pretty anti-smoking then, I'm assuming. Either that or just the people aren't engaged enough to get a pipe show going, maybe. I'm pretty sure you guys get taxed at a pretty heavy rate over there on your tobacco. There's some areas where our taxes are definitely going up on tobacco. I think Wisconsin's like 75% or something. Crazy like that. I think here in Indiana we're like 35%. Oh, prices are still okay. Okay, well that's good. Man, I think this dust is getting to me. Didn't bring anything out here to drink either. Yeah, our pipe tobacco is taxed differently than our cigarettes also, but they still aren't overly friendly about it. I probably need to see if I can find any bargains next pipe show I go to stockpile a little bit more. Man, that's horrible. Buy what you can afford now. Yeah, that's the truth, David. NOS pipes to be found at stores still. NOS. Not sure what NOS. Is that the vaping pipes or the other pipes? New old stock. Oh, okay. And loads of new old stock pipes. That's cool. That part of it's very cool if you can find new old stock. Alright, I think the 400 is good at the moment. I'll probably switch to 600 and then I'll find some more where I'm not happy. Have to go back again. Hopefully not, but. And I'm kind of folding it over on itself, trying to get it roundish. So when I'm pushing down into this area here, it kind of takes the shape of that and sands that out. This is crazy. Back in the 80s and 90s, huh? Probably early 90s is when I tried pipe smoking for the first time. Didn't stick with it, but it seemed very cool back then. I still think it's cool. It's hard to put into words. Off to bed now. All right, have a great evening. Have a blessed week. Try not to work too hard. Currently working on breaking in some new LCSs. That's cool. Is there a tariff on getting his pipes into the States, David? I've not dealt with that much. I usually don't do. I don't know that I do any other than some of my pipe making supplies like rod stock that I ordered from Germany. I don't recall ever having to pay a tariff. Maybe it was already calculated in. I'm not sure. I'm hoping this Saturday to get over and pick up some more material for pipe making. Maybe some briar. That's probably going to be my main focus is briar. Last trip I made to go get some supplies was the pre-made stems for the Emberlings mostly. Have you noticed the tariffs, David, when you order from Simon, or how you pay for them, or are they? Do you think they're included in, or is there an additional charge, or is that something that just flies under the radar and they don't really worry about it? I'm not sure. Seems kind of small potatoes for our government to worry about. Some artisan pipes coming across the border. I can't imagine that's that big a deal. I mean, you wouldn't think personal transactions like that would get dinged for anything. It's not like they're importing pounds and pounds of anything. Pipes are typically really lightweight. So, I mean, what could you really be doing transporting silly little stuff like this in, and how's that really going to affect the economy and everything? I don't see why they would even worry about it. At least from my limited experience, I don't feel that pipe making, artisan pipe making, is carrying our country. Had to pay tariff on imports from Italy, even had to go through a custom broker house. Huh. I wouldn't even know how to go through a customs broker house. Never had to deal with anything like that. The 600 makes some fine dust. That's probably what keeps irritating my throat. I need to definitely get some of these pipes ready for Muletown. I'm starting to feel the the pressure from trying to get ready for that. We're still a little over a month out, but I mean, even when I finish a pipe, you're talking the actual stain doesn't take but a day. Wait on it for a day, but then when I start putting clear coats on the smooth, put a coat of clear coat on and wait. I've got some new. Holy smokes! That was scary. The whole place is coming down. I don't know what that's for. I don't even know. Oh, I know what that was. That was up there on top. How in the world? You evidently didn't lock in right. Some like French cleat came tumbling down. Wasn't hardly anything on it either, I don't think. Kind of crazy. Broker house charges a fee for completing the complicated paperwork. Cost me an additional $200. Holy smokes. I would have never imagined that kind of cost. Wow. That is crazy. I think they went a little overboard there. I always hear them talking about paying their customs over in the UK. That sounds like something Mark Welsh Piper would talk about, buying tobacco and what he had to pay. That's just crazy. Having to pay something like that would make me feel like we're not even living in America. I mean, come on. Just to have something delivered to you. I mean, I can see using customs for big ticket items. And I can see having customs around for worrying about whether drugs are getting shipped into our country or something like that. The pipe was a $2,000 S-bang. Oh man. So 10%. Jeez. I don't know that I'll ever be able to get a S-bang or any of those high-end pipes like that. And then if I did, I don't know that I'd have the heart to smoke it. Did you smoke your S-bang you got? And then the question would be, how did it smoke? Did you notice that it smokes better than Simon's pipe, or better than our pipe, the Grunewald pipes, or better than a Peterson? I mean, I would expect it to definitely smoke better than a Peterson, but wow, that's neat. I'm debating on whether I'll be able to get a Jeff Allen pipe sometime, or a Nate King pipe. I think Jeff Allen pipes start, don't quote me, but I think they're around $850 to $950 or something is where they start. I'm afraid you guys might not find me if I spent that kind of money on a pipe. My lovely wife may have found somewhere to get rid of me at. I may not make it home. Just kidding. She hadn't got rid of me by now. She's probably not going to. We've been together, this year is 41 years. That was back in just about a little over a week ago. The 19th of January was our 41-year anniversary. So I'd say if she hasn't got rid of me yet, she's probably not going to. But I'm not going to test the waters on that either. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. I got lucky and found one that put up with me first go round. Well, I'll be back to work tomorrow. I'm sure they will have lifted our travel ban by then, so I won't be able to work on pipes tomorrow during the day anyhow. I'll have to wait till tomorrow night when I get home from work. Then I gotta take off Friday. I think I gotta go in for my annual doctor visit, so Friday I should have some time to work on pipes after that. Where did those scratches come from? Man, oh man. Maybe I need to switch my 600 grit. Get some some fresh stuff that'll maybe cut just a little bit better. Feels like it's doing more. We'll see. Where'd those scratches go now? I saw them a minute ago. The silly thing is you don't see them now. And then you go to put a stain on them or a clear coat on them, and then all of a sudden they pop out at you. Like somebody shined a bright light on them, a spotlight or something. And this would be why smooths cost so much more than the sandblast or rusticated. All this time spent going over and over and over. The bad thing is, I think this is an Emberling pipe. I'm spending way too much time on it for it to be an Emberling pipe. Emberlings are meant to be quick. And I kind of got hung up on the idea of this whale, and when I saw how good the briar was, even though the grain orientation's not the best, the briar is flawless, so I hate to blast it. I could have saved myself probably 2 hours of sanding if I would have just blasted it. But then that grain would have been, that perfect briar would have been wasted, I feel like. Hello, Jacques. Thanks for stopping by. Just sanding on a couple pipes. Been spending a lot of time on this little whale. He's got a small tail on him. And then I've got another one I haven't actually started 600 grit on yet, but bigger tail on this one. Kind of an apple-ish shape, but when you look down on them, they definitely have the whale vibe going. So when I saw that, I decided to experiment with the tails. I don't know if anybody will feel attracted to that or not, because I know pipes are a funny thing. They just, there's no way to explain it. At least that I can do it. I can't explain it. I've looked at pipes and walked around and looked at pipes, and you may not even be thinking about buying anything. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, something happens and a pipe just almost calls your name. I mean, you're just looking and I'm doing good, thanks. Appreciate the compliment. Yeah, I've been debating about packing a bowl of Frogmorton Chalet made by, it's not a Frogmorton product, but it's James Ravenwood makes it. The Briar Fellowship, and it's a crossover blend. And I've been thinking I'd like to pack a bowl of that, but I'm not a clincher, so I can't really work and smoke at the same time. And right now I need to be getting some work done, because I've got just a little over a month and Muletown will be here. We'll be down in Columbia, Tennessee at that pipe show going on down there. Hopefully some of the guys can make it down and check us out. Need a graded Emberling category, rusticated, blasted, smooth. Oh, I agree. It is difficult to price. And typically on my Shire series, and even the up until now, what I've done with the Emberlings is sandblasted are 140, and then the smooths are 160. So there's only a $20 difference, but I've got a rusticated one in there. Actually, two no, not rusticated, sandblasted in there. But the grain orientation is there. It's got rings going around the bowl, and yeah, I don't know what to do with those. I almost feel like I ought to cut a hand cut stem for them so I can, just because the grain on them is awesome, I think, and need to capitalize when you can get nice looking grain out of a block, because you can't always, depending on what the cutters did to you in the process of cutting. I'm really hoping to improve at picking up briar and making sure I get stuff, the grain's really nice in, and being able to orientate it correctly, so maximize the value of the briar, I guess. That's something I guess I need to probably spend some time talking to some of the higher end guys about, because surely they developed some sort of system for figuring that stuff out. Because the grain and the briar coming out clean, I mean, that all has to play in somehow. I'm new enough, I really don't have a good answer for it, kind of like Simon. Simon's been in it a while, though. That's kind of bothersome that he's still struggling with his pricing. I mean, he doesn't, but I wouldn't say he struggles with it, but like you said, he mentions it's the hardest part. I was hoping that with time, pricing would become easy, and you'd have a better handle on it. I know ultimately they say it's worth what someone will pay, but that's hard to judge. I've heard different stories about people talking about pricing and value and everything, and it's definitely a complicated thing. Because you want obviously you want your customers to feel that they got a good value for their money. I mean, if they don't feel like they're getting a good value, you probably won't have very many customers. I was talking to one pipe maker about pricing on my Emberlings. I told him the very first Emberling I sold, the guy told me I was too cheap on them and said I needed to raise my prices, and he was all excited about buying one. And the pipe maker told me, he said, you listen to your customers about everything except pricing. He said, that's the one thing you don't listen to your customers on. Just because they tell you you should be getting more, he said, you want to try to stay. He said, I think you're in a good range right now. He said, I think you want to stay where you're at. He said, you don't want to take that into account. He said, just be glad that the customer felt like they were getting a bargain. And that customer smokes the tar out of that Emberling. He said it's one of his everyday smokers. For us here in South Africa, to get some of the tobacco there, it's expensive. Oh, I bet. Jacques, do you know Yusuf by any chance? Since you're in South Africa, I know it's a big place. You may not know him. But you've probably seen him, Yusuf, what's he going by now? The Cheeky Amputee is his name on YouTube now. And I know he's got some of our American blends over there, courtesy of the YouTube pipe community. All right, I think that one's good to 600. Maybe I should focus just a little bit more up by the chamber. Yes, I do know him. He was a couple times here. We made 2 videos together. Oh, nice. That's cool. I wish I could have met Yusuf over here in the U.S., but I would have had him over to my house, but unfortunately, my house is not big enough for accommodating another person. My little 3-bedroom, and I still have my daughter at home with us. And the 3rd bedroom is got my computer and my tobacco cellar. I wouldn't even have room to set up a cot. If I would have had another room, I would have definitely had Yusuf over to hang out some. Looked like he had a good time over here in the States and got to visit with several people. Unfortunately, I didn't have the accommodations for him. I'm not sure that I follow your YouTube channel, Jacques. Jacques Gilbert. I need to remember that and try to sub your channel. I'm trying to even out the rim a little bit as I'm cleaning up the sanding. We also have 3-bedroom. I'm still busy building a house for my wife and me, but that's going to be a 2-bedroom house. Well, see, that's the thing. This house here, I got it, and figured this would be our retirement house. And now I'm not sure it's going to be, because it's not quite big enough. I mean, it's big enough to live in, don't get me wrong, but as far as comfort, and if my kids start having grandkids, it's going to be pretty tight when we have grandkids over to spend the night or anything. I mean, my house is basically 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a combination, well, not really combination, but an attached kitchen living room area. So it's not very big. I think I'm right at 1,000 square feet. I think it would be nice to be around 1,300 would be ideal, I think. That would be enough that you could have a little bit bigger living room for the kids to run in. All right, David, take care. Thanks for stopping by and chatting. Yeah, I've been on here 83 minutes. We're coming up on an hour and a half. And that's of mostly hand sanding. Some of that was opening up the tenon end of the cherry stem so I could fit my stainless steel tenon in for the mouthpiece. It's already 3:37. Hopefully the 600 will knock out everything I need to get on this this bigger whale. Undecided whether this one's going to make a smooth still, but it's got 3 or 4 little spots in it that they're just dark spots. They're not holes or anything like that, but maybe I'll just go with a darker stain on this one. And a lot of times that'll cause those little dark spots just to kind of blend in when you use a darker stain. Don't have to go to black or anything, but at least a medium brown, and a lot of times those little imperfections will just disappear in with the rest of the grain. Eight meters by 8 meters, so like 64 square. Yeah, mine is can't remember. I think mine's about 24 by 40. No, it's got to be bigger than that. 24 by 50 maybe. That would make it 1,080. That's too much. It's 960, I'm sure. 24 by 40. Yeah, 24 by 40. That makes it 960 square feet, so just under 1,000 square feet. So that's 3 meters by 40 be 10, 13. Yeah. So you're just 24 by 24. Wow, that is going to be small. It requires a lot of organizational skills and definitely making use of all your space. You can come up with some neat little places to put stuff, like maybe interior walls. I've thought about this, haven't done it yet, but doing an interior wall with storage for like canned goods and stuff. I mean, a 2x4 wall, even if you went to a 2x6 wall and lost just a couple of inches of floor space, that might pay for itself if you could have your cupboard hidden within your wall to save your, or not save, but to store your canned goods in. That way you wouldn't have to have a an actual pantry. Now, when the daughter decides to find her a good husband, a good guy to marry, and moves out, then yeah, the 3-bedroom will definitely be adequate as far as space. But because right now, not only is she using her closet, but she's using some of the closet in the other room, which I'm also using the closet in the other room. It's got my water softener in it. And we use a little on-demand water heater, so we don't have a big water heater that's taking up a lot of room. It's just hanging on a wall, so that saves a lot of space there in the utility room. Yeah, that'll definitely help save some space if you can tuck away some of your canned goods and stuff like that. I've watched some of these videos and people living in these little vans and such. And they have some pretty nifty little ideas for maximizing their storage areas, where they pull stuff out, they pull a drawer out, and they have stuff tucked away in a drawer that they pull out, and then they can unfold and set it up for use. And then when they're done with it, they tuck it back away down in that drawer. I've got some really neat little ideas for how to maximize space. Yeah, I don't currently smoke in my house either. I don't think it's a horrible thing. We've always come outside, either into the garage or just out in the outdoors, which is okay. The silly thing is, you get to watching those little videos and it looks like a good time. But I'm sure it would get old if you had to live like that all the time. Does it get pretty cold over there in South Africa? I don't know what the weather is here around. I think they said wind chill was like 2 or something like that. So it's pretty chilly at the moment. That's not typical though, but we do hit those numbers in the winter usually. But my wife is ready to move to Florida so we don't hit those type of numbers. I have a brother and sister-in-law that live in Florida, and that doesn't help when she gets to hear about how nice the weather is in the 70s down there. Trying to make sure I get all these sand marks out of this thing. Yep, I think you do too. Obviously you must. I mean, people living up in Alaska and places like that never see the temperature that we get here. So you must get used to it. Probably helps when you're raised there and you come up in that, and that's what you've always known. You just expect it. But you'd think that's how they'd be here in Indiana. This would be the weather we're used to. All right. Here in the winter, we get between -4 Celsius and 15 degrees Celsius. In the summer, between 25 Celsius and 42 Celsius. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Is that scratches or is that dust? Or is it grain? Hard to tell. Yeah, those imperfections, I think it's going to end up being a blast. It's got a couple imperfections up there close to the chamber, little cracks. The rest of the pipe is pretty clean, but yeah, I think it's going to be a blasted pipe. That's a shame. I really like the way the tail turned out on him. But we'll see how he comes out as a blast. His cross grain's kind of going through at an angle. So maybe we'll get some ring grain action, and it'll just be a little higher on one side than it is on the other. So it'll come across at an angle on him instead of being level. But that's okay. He's an Emberling. He's not a high-end pipe. We'll just leave him at that and blast him. Okay, well, I've been on almost 100 minutes, and I have some lathe work I need to do. I'm gonna turn the taper on these. Currently, they're just straight, but they've been drilled. So now I think I'm gonna turn the taper on these and get them ready. Thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna, as soon as I end the video, Jacques, I'm gonna try to go over and sub your channel. Because I'm not 100% sure I'm subbed to you. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here. I hope you have a blessed week over there in South Africa. Stay safe, and I'll talk with you later. Have a great day.